Hey guys, it's Lee here from Click Studios. I hope you're doing well. Today's video will discuss backing up Passwordstate using our built-in backup feature. We have a previous training video which shows how to set this up using a domain account and a network share, but this video will focus on using a local account with a standard folder. Now the reason you may want to use a local account and folder is because your Passwordstate web server is not joined to the domain, so you will likely move this backup data off your server using other tools on a schedule of your choice. In this video we are assuming that your Passwordstate website and SQL database are both located on the same server. If you have a database hosted on a separate machine, please use the second set of instructions linked in the description of this video to use a domain account with a network share. To explain what we need to back up in order to restore your environment in the event of a disaster, there are really two critical pieces of data to consider. Number one, your Passwordstate database, which stores everything such as passwords, permissions, users, system settings, license keys, and one half of your encryption keys. Your web.config file is the second piece of data that includes the second half of your encryption keys. Our backup process can take a backup of your database, your Passwordstate install folder which includes the critical web.config file, and it can also back up your encryption keys separately if you like. To begin setting this up, we'll create a local account on our Passwordstate web server. When creating this account, you can name it anything you like, and I'll assign an easy to remember password just for the purpose of this video, but normally we would recommend you assign a good strong password. Next, we'll create a folder on this server which will be used to store all backup data, and we'll also then need to give the backup account modify access to this folder. With that complete, we'll need to give this backup account enough permissions on the SQL database so it can successfully export a backup of the database. We'll do this by launching SQL Management Studio tools and connect by using another account that has enough permissions to administer your SQL environment. Typically you could use the Super Administrator or SA account which is built into SQL, but you may have your own admin account that you'd prefer to use. Once connected, we'll search for and add in the local account, so you'll need to ensure your server name is highlighted before looking up this account. Now if we do search for the backup account, we'll click the check names to confirm the account is found and click OK. Now before you move off this screen, you should click on User Mapping, select the Passwordstate database and assign the DB Backup operator role. Once this is done, we'll need to install a Powershell module on this server. This Powershell module has a bunch of commandlets in it that allows for SQL backups, and when installing this, it will reach out to the Microsoft repository online to download the module. I've already copied this PowerShell code from our documentation, and if you need to copy it too, please see the link in the description of this video, or just go to our Click Studios website documentation page and you'll find the backup documentation there. Okay, so that's prepared our server with everything we need. We'll now log into Passwordstate and begin setting up the backup options in there. First, we need to make sure we have our server loaded into the system. We can do this under the Host tab, and all you need to do is add the server name and choose the correct operating system. In this case, we are using Windows Server 2022. Next, we'll create a new password list that is enabled for resets. We can do this simply by selecting the appropriate template during the password list creation process, or if you wanted to, you could edit an existing password list and simply enable this option here and save those changes. With this option set, you'll notice these extra fields on your password record when you're adding a new one in. Some people don't want Passwordstate to automatically recycle this backup password, and if this is the case for you, I'd recommend disabling this option on your record. You should now set the account type to be Windows, and then this will allow us to search for the server we added into the system in the previous step. We'll now add in the username of the account you created on the server and the password you set for it, and save these changes. Okay, so we're getting close to finishing this whole process, and the last thing we need to do is configure the backup screen with all the relevant information and test to see if it works. Stepping through this page, we'll first search for the backup account we previously created. When typing in the name of the account in this field, it will actually search through all password records you have access to, so potentially you may have multiple results here. For me, I only have one account of this name, so I only have one result to choose from, and clicking on that result will set this field correctly. If it's not already, you should enable the backups option and choose how many backups to keep and what time of the day you would prefer the backups to execute. We should now set the backup path for both web files and the database to be the folder we created earlier in this video. If you were sending your backups to a network share, you could set different paths here, but as we're only working with a local account and a local folder, it makes sense just to put all the backup data in the one folder. If you had other software to automate the backup of your database, then you'd deselect this option, but today we'll leave it enabled so Passwordstate does a complete backup for you. The database location and DNS lookup options are also irrelevant in this case, as we are only working with the one server. And we'll leave the backup split secrets enabled, which will also ensure this backup process also takes a copy of your entire encryption keys. If you choose to password protect your backup zip files, this will use the current password that is set on your backup account password record. If this password were to ever change, then you'd need to know the value of that password in order to extract the backup zip files. For this reason, most customers choose not to allow Passwordstate to automatically recycle their password on their password record. We'll now save this configuration, and if everything is set up correctly, then the test permissions process will succeed. And to prove that this is all working, let's do a quick backup through the user interface. Looking in the folder now, we can see three separate zip files. One contains the install files, the second contains the database, and the third contains the encryption keys. Each day you should now notice some more zip files being added into this folder, which are being added on the schedule you chose in your backup settings. Old backups will automatically be removed from disk. We hope this helps you get your backups configured. And if you need any more information on this, please refer to our backup documentation on the Click Studios website or in the description of this video. Our support staff will be happy to help with any questions you have about this backup process, and we'd recommend logging a support call through our support page located here on the Click Studios website. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.